Hi, my name is Nicholas Rizzuto, and I'm currently studying the art of cinema at Messiah University. Some of the classes I've completed thus far in my academic journey are classes such as my Introduction to Basic Video and Editing class, as well as my Advanced Documentary Filmmaking class. Over the past year, I have created my own film agency known as Rizzuto Film Agency. That is where I can take many of my learnings and bring them into the real world. I have also been filming weddings by myself and alongside someone I do consider a mentor. He preaches to capture every moment and not necessarily just create them. This style of filmmaking is something that I have previously learned in my documentary filmmaking class. The idea is observational filmmaking. This is the cinematic style I'm looking to bring to my film, The Back of the Barbershop. The Back of the Barbershop is about a young kid by the name of Joe. It's known as Young Joe. And Young Joe, he works as a runner for the mafia. And the entire time he's told, watch out for the cops, watch out for, don't lose it, watch out for just other people. And he ends up meeting the cops. When the police officers approached Young Joe, they quickly realized that inside the newspaper there was no narcotics, there was nothing illegal, but only 2 packs of cigarettes. This is the first identification in the film that the mafia that Young Joe works for or is partnered with, they really have a control on the police, and there's police officers that are willing to tell them when they are going to, storm their shops, and they're going to tell them when they're going to be waiting for a delivery to be made. Suddenly, Joe grows up. Young Joe was about 12 years old. Now Joe's closer to 20 years old, and the whole idea of Young Joe and showing him was to show that there was an expansion day. There's an expansion day in the barbershop. The expansion day later becomes known as not expanding the barbershop, but expanding the business that comes out of the back of the barbershop. Joe is now bringing in about $500,000 worth of narcotics from Montreal, from the whole way down to York, where the story takes place. And he meets up with someone who he doesn't necessarily fully trust, and she is part of a different family that he is now giving these drugs to for exchange for money. So he has upgraded from a runner, just doing like individual little deals, to now he is bringing in the majority of it. It is also shown in the film that a lot of the people that worked at the barbershop were killed after Expansion Day. That's because the Expansion Day did not go well, did not go as planned. It doesn't become known but until later of the film that Joe's best friend Tony is the one that pretty much ratted on the whole group and the whole entire crime family that Young Joe was working for. The reason why they were killed was because of Tony, but Tony kept it a secret from Young Joe his entire life. But then Young Joe finally came to realize that Tony was behind it the entire time. This story takes place in the 1960s, a time where Italian mob families controlled the majority of the cities. The genre I'm looking to achieve will be a mixture between Italian neorealism and the French New Wave. I want to put a modern twist on both of these genres, definitely adding color, definitely adding a lot of the elements that they both share, such as not professional actors. I want to have actors that kind of live that life. It's going to be a little bit difficult because it does take place in the 1960s, so we are no longer in the 1960s. So I'm going to need actors that can kind of relive, possibly their past ancestors. But yeah, I want to have a lot of authentic actors that live, maybe if it's like New York City, Italians New York City, that they can just really nail it out of the park on that. As well as I want to have lots of stable camera shots. I'm not looking to get a lot of crazy movements. I'm looking to be observational when I'm filming, kind of like what I talked about previously with the observational filmmaking class that I've taken, as well as the weddings that I film. I would try to just capture everything. A lot of those Italian neorealism films like Rome Open City don't not only show the real life problems, but they also have just long takes where there's lots of dialogue, or doesn't even have to be dialogue. That leads me into, I would like to have a director that I was thinking too, that I have on mind, but the first director that I was thinking was Vince Gilligan. He has a lot of abstract frames that he likes to create, he likes to play with the visuals, and he loves having long shots. You know, there might not be the most dialogue in the shots, but they seem abnormally long, and those long shots tend to create tension, tend to create just different visual cues for the audience to look at, especially with his abstract shots that he does choose. There's a lot of pacing that slows down the film, which I love. I love being able to control the different pace. Another director that I think would be really valuable on this set is an Italian director by the name of Paolo Sorrentino. He is famously known for his Netflix film The Hand of God, which was filmed in Italian in Italy. The Italian director really focuses on these strong frames that he's able to create. A lot of his frames does have characters, their main character standing in the middle of the frame, and then to the sides of the frames you see lots of blocking of lots of moving characters coming in and out of frame. I think this just style really is realistic and is simple. You know, like I said, like not too much camera movement, but just lock the camera off on a tripod and have the rest of the set, rest of the cast really do its magic with, you know, just the blocking and then the lighting and the rest of the cinematography that is able to be done. With the plot of the story, as well as the two powerful directors that we were able to use, I think the majority of the target audience would be people older than kids. I think a lot of the kids, they're not going to be able to understand or be able to reflect as well as some of these older people are with the city life more in the 60s, you know, or just necessarily the idea of what Italians were like in the 60s. Although it would be great for young kids to learn and to watch and to see how it was at this time, I just think that a majority of the target audience will be the older audience.